stop hitting behind the ball and duffing your iron shots. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk you through why you're hitting behind the golf ball with your irons, you're duffing it, you're thinning it, and you're having super inconsistent strikes when it comes to your irons. As always, I could stand here all day talking through technical terms and making it super hard, but I'm going to keep it super easy, quick to understand, and for you to take out on the golf course. Before we get started, if you could do me a favour and hit that subscribe button. It takes a second to do, and a lot of you who will be watching this don't already subscribe. So hit subscribe, it means you'll never miss another video like this, and you'll get better at golf. Let's get into it. Hitting behind the golf ball when it comes to our irons is just one of those dreaded shots. It causes us to duff the ball, we either top it or thin it. We just have super inconsistent strikes. So why do we do that? Why do we hit behind the ball? And it's simply that we're not shifting our weight correctly. We're swaying away from the ball rather than shifting our weight and rotating. It's a common mistake I see golfers do. We sway, and to get back to the ball from here, you've got to do a lot of overwork. You've either got to sway to get back to it, or you've got to flick your wrists. Either two of these moves are what's going to cause us to chunk it, or we're going to flick our wrists to try and save it, and we're going to thin it. So instead of hitting behind the ball, ideally, we want to be making ball to ground contact. So what does that mean? We're hitting the ball and then the ground. That's where you see the pros have clean divots, compressed shots. You hear the ball fizz once it's hit. So if you're hitting behind the ball, then you're chunking it, we're hitting the grass and then the ball. Whereas if you can hit the ball and then the ground, that's when you're going to have super consistent shots and you're going to stop this chunk behind. So here's 3 steps on how to stop hitting behind the ball. So step number 1 is all about the setup and the posture, talking about our ball position. Now, I see so many golfers with the ball position out of place. We're using a mid-iron, we're using a 7-iron, and our ball position with this needs to be just left of centre. So when we got our ball position way too far forward, that's where I see so many golfers flick their arms to get back to the ball. But straight away you can see, if I was to swing naturally, my low point is here. Okay, so if my low point is here, that's going to cause me to hit straight away behind the ball and then the ball. That's when you're going to have no compression, you're going to top it, you're going to thin it. So if we can just pop our ball position exactly where it needs to be, then this is going to allow the club to return back to where it should be at impact. So rather than flicking to try and save it, we've already got ourselves on a really solid position. Okay, so ball position with our mid-iron needs to be just left of centre, as we've just mentioned. The best way to gauge this is just pop our toes together, take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So straight away, I'm just left of centre, and this is going to allow the club, again, to return back to where it should be at impact, and we've got that nice shaft lean. We're going to get into that in a little bit more detail in a second, but that is why our ball position needs to be where it is. When we're using more of a pitching wedge, a short iron, we do tend to move the ball position more towards our centre. And if we're using a long iron, we tend to bring the ball position more forward towards our lead foot. But for our mid-irons, we're just left to centre. In doing that, we need to just really think about where our weight is in our feet. So many golfers sit in this position, the weight's too much in the heels. This is going to cause you to sway because we're in this position. It's hard to turn, okay? My hips are almost stuck. And the opposite, I see a lot of golfers with the weight too much in the toes. Again, this is just going to cause you to use your arms, you're going to topple over. So you really want to feel that the weight is in the balls of your feet, which is going to give you the most amount of turn, and it's going to allow the body to coil and keep the body connected, working as one. The best way to gauge this is just get yourself set up, feel an extreme weight in the toes, feel an extreme weight in the heels, and then anywhere in between, almost the front of your shoelaces is absolutely perfect. You'll feel this just allows the knees to be bent naturally and the arms will hang straight down. Step number 2 is all about the technique. As we've just mentioned, the reason why we're hitting behind the ball is because we sway and we're not shifting our weight. Here's how we can begin to shift our weight we can start to rotate and coil the body to give us really solid strikes. Okay, so what I want you to think is that your sternum stays directly over the ball, and almost imagine that you've got two chairs either side of our legs. I love thinking this because it just keeps the whole body connected. So get ourselves set up. We've got our ball position just left of centre. Imagine our nose over the ball and the chairs either side. Okay, what we want to do, we want to rotate our hips, our shoulders, so our nose stays over the ball, but our hip doesn't touch the chair on the side of us. If we sway, then our nose is going to fall behind the ball and we're going to actually push the chair away. Okay, so getting to the top of our backswing, we're avoiding the chair behind us, our sternum staying over the ball. And now from here, I want you to feel that to start your downswing, you shift the weight forward so you just touch the chair and then we rotate. In doing that, we need to be conscious of where our hands are now, okay? So we fixed our sway, we've got rid of this and now we're turning. We need to be very conscious of this position, okay? So many of us who flick, who hit behind the ball, allow the club head to win the race. Now, if your club head is winning the race and the arms fall behind, straight away, we're going to hit the top of the ball. It's just not going to be nice and it's not going to be consistent. So if you can have the hands forward at impact, that's what's going to give you the best chance of shifting the weight and compressing the ball. You're going to make that ball to ground contact, so you're not flicking the ball. We're now in this solid position. Step number 3 is the 2 best drills for when it comes to stopping us from hitting behind the ball. So drill number 1 is the sternum drill. I love doing this with every club in the bag because it just makes sure that the whole body's turning as one, and it allows you to feel where your sternum should be and your strike should be. So as we said before, our nose is over the ball, not like with our driver where our head's behind the ball because we want to hit up. Now we need to be over the ball, okay? So rotate all the way up to the top, keeping our nose along that line. If we were to sway, our nose would be well away, okay? And if we were to sway or lean the other way, our nose is on the other side. So keeping our nose over the line, rotating, shifting our weight, again, rotating, keeping our hands pressed forward. That's when we're going to stay over the ball. The only time you want to move away from this line is as you come up, okay? You're going to move a little bit forward and that's fine. It shows that we've fully released and we've let our weight shift forward. And drill number 2 is just my favourite drill. I do it all the time because it's so good. All you need to do is get yourself a tee, pop it about a club head width in front of the ball. Now the aim of this drill is to hit the ball and then the tee, because when we hit behind the ball, we make contact with the ground here, okay? If you're hitting behind the ball, you're going to miss that tee altogether. The tee's going to stay there. Whereas if we're making ball to ground contact, then you're going to hit the tee. So this drill is so good to, again, make sure the whole body's working as one, rotating, but it allows you to feel how the strike should feel. It allows you to have the hands pressed forward. We're compressing the ball and you kind of have really good strikes and divots. A brief recap is ball position is crucial. If you've got your ball position too far back or forward, then that's going to encourage you to hit behind the ball. Whereas if your ball position is correct, like my mid-iron, it just needs to be left of centre, the club is going to return at the right time. We're going to compress the ball and we're going to make that ball to ground contact. Number 2 is the technique. So making sure we're not swaying away from the ball, we're rotating, we're coiling, we're shifting our weight, and again, we're rotating, uncoiling, and letting the hands win the race. This is where we're going to see ball to ground contact, and you're going to have super crisp strikes. And number 3 is the sternum drill. So putting the stick in our stance, making sure our nose stays over the stick. This will also encourage us to compress, to shift our weight, and if the divot's behind the stick, then obviously we've hit too far behind. Whereas if the divot is on line with the stick and forward, then we've had a really good strike. And then obviously the tee drill, which I do all the time with every club in the bag, making sure we're hitting the ball and then the tee, because if we've missed the tee altogether, then we've clearly flicked our wrists and we've hit behind the ball. So if you can hit the ball and then the tee, that's what's going to ensure that you're hitting consistent shots, clean divots, and you're stopping those horrid, duffed, thin shots from behind the ball. I hope you love this video from today. It's been highly requested, but remember, drop a comment below on what video you want to see next, whether you're struggling with a slice, if you're duffing the ball, let me know and I'm going to be choosing the most requested video. If you took value from this video, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.